All right, welcome. I am so happy that you are here and so delighted to share this with you. Okay, we have so much to cover regarding schools, school selection, and the best schools for you, and the schools that are going to help you the most for college and then also for your career after college. So, are you ready? All right, I'm ready. Welcome. First of all, congratulations. You have taken the first step toward seriously preparing yourself for your college audition. And you should understand that you are in the minority of the population here who is really taking this seriously, and you're going to have a real leg up as you get towards school selection and when you get to audition season. I guarantee you that by the time that we're done with your preparation for school, you'll be looking around and all the other people who are panicking and worrying and going, and you'll say, no sweat. I got started early with Drew. Like a boss, boom. All right, so there are some things that I want to go over first about what you will learn. Okay, today you're going to learn, first of all, what the different kinds of theater schools are, okay? Because they are different and how they are different, which is really the important thing to know about the theater schools is what they offer and what their self-containment is. That is to say, what do you get from each school? And they're very, very different. And this is going to clear a lot of things up for you. You're also going to learn that you actually already have a school that fits your career goals. There's a school out there that is just waiting for you that you just don't know about yet, okay? And you will learn that there is actually a formula to maximize admission possibility. That's right. You can actually find a way to increase your likelihood of finding the right school and finding the right school for you and then admission into that school. Boom! Is that crazy? And you will also learn, Mom and Dad, this is for you, how to get the best training in the country and still not break the bank. What? That's insanity, but it's true. That is what we are doing today. So here we go. And I forgot to tell you, at the end of this, I have a bonus, a post-credit special. Da-da-da! I chose that picture because it's Nick Fury from the Avengers, and every Avengers movie has a post-credit special, and we have a great post-credit special. This is the one trick, and I swear to God this works, to keep you in the room. It's going to make the difference between no thank you and hey, why don't you stick around a while and read again? You are not going to want to miss that. So stay tuned to the very end because this works. This keeps you in the room. And to be honest, it has booked me 3 jobs just by doing this one little thing that you would never think of. All right, so let's talk about you for a minute. You are a performer who is passionate about sharing your talent. This is not just a hobby for you. This is not a passing phase. This is who you are. You are a living, breathing performer, and you want to do this for real. And I'm excited to help you do that. You are a parent or a family member of a talented performer, and you want to do all you can to make sure that they have all the tools they can get to make sure that they are secure and sound and they have the best opportunities that they can get. You want to continue your education for a career in theater and beyond. Because let's be honest, maybe we change our mind about what we want to do. A lot of actors I know weren't actors when they started. They were something else. And a lot of actors I know are actors and then they change careers. It's okay. That's totally okay. But you want to make sure that you have all the tools that you need to make that possible, to stay in theater and to be able to deviate from theater whenever you want. And I swear, we have these tools that make that all possible. Now, let's talk about what you want. You want to, of course, land in a school that supports your career goals and gives you industry connections. And when I say industry connections, you know what I mean. That means meeting, quote unquote, the right people. People who can help you out and help further your career. And why wouldn't you want a school that can give you that kind of opportunity? You want to be able to study additional topics outside of theater as well. Maybe not everybody here, but certainly a few people are going to want to do maybe a minor in something, or you just have a passion, which is great. I love it. I want you to follow your passion. If you want a minor in biochem, do it. I would flunk that class, but I want you to do what you want to do, okay? You want to also support your mental, physical, and emotional health while you study. That is super, super important, especially for a performer. When you have early rehearsals and late rehearsals, early class and late class, you can burn the candle at both ends. So you want to make sure that the school that you're interested in is also interested in helping you as well. And you want to set you up for success immediately upon graduation. You get your diploma and boom, you are hitting the boards, right? You are in New York, you're in LA, you're in Chicago, and you have everything that you need, that you don't have the feeling that, maybe I wasn't ready. No, when you graduate, you have that feeling of, I am ready. I got everything I need from a place that I loved and from faculty that I trusted and were inspired by. So if you got that, give me a heck yes. Heck yeah. All right, here we go. It's time to navigate. Oh, the road to finding your perfect theater school can be very confusing. There are lots of conflicting information, lots to look at. But if you have a map that tells you where to go, it's going to undo your stress so much. And if you look at this poor woman, she is really lost. You can tell because her steering wheel's on the wrong side of the car. You'll never get where you're going, lady. Oh, Autumn. Autumn was one of my first students, and she is delightful. She's now studying at the University of the Arts, and she was wonderful to work with for monologues. And she says that my teaching methods and emphasis on collaboration made her monologues a huge standout portion of her auditions. And she's having a great time up at the University of the Arts in Philadelphia. I just saw her recently. All right, here we go. I know about you a little bit, but now, what do you know about me and my road to get where I am? Well, I have a confession to make. When I was in high school, I was a theater dork. Yeah, that's me. I don't like to talk about it. I was in a phase where I took sexy black and white headshots. Maybe I took myself too seriously. Maybe I didn't. No, I did. And I was a theater dork, and I wanted to conquer the world doing theater. But I had one little thing stopping me. Although I had a great theater program and an outstanding staff of theater directors, I didn't have anybody helping me with my college auditions. I was pretty lost in terms of where to look. There were a lot of information, there was a lot of books, but none of it really added up to helping me out. So I went to junior college for a couple of years doing my GEs, and then I went to Stony Brook University out on Long Island, New York, and it was a great choice. It had a very good theater program. It's 90 minutes from New York City. I got to do everything: playwriting, acting, directing, stage managing, performing. It was a wonderful time. That's me with my best friend, Rob Ryan. We're working on a TV show as we speak. See, industry connections. And Stony Brook set me up for success. And when I came out of Stony Brook, it wasn't long before I was working for this guy. Well, actually, I was working for Mickey, but I hung out with Donald a lot. I was the stage manager for the shows on Disney Cruise Line. And what did that mean? That meant that I was in charge of the artistic integrity of all the shows, kind of a associate director of the shows, as well as keeping the company cohesive and happy. And I had a lovely time. I learned a lot about theater, and I knew that I wanted to come back and continue performing. So I left the cruise line and started doing musical theater, professional musical theater, full time. And that's pretty much what I've done since then. I've lived a very blessed life, going from show to show to show to show at places like 3D theatricals, Sierra Repertory Theater, and I'm just about to embark on a national tour in a little bit. But my real passion is teaching. So now I work at the Orange County School of the Arts, and I couldn't be happier. Every day, I'm inspired by my students and the progress they make and the growth that I see as actors. So I am so happy in what I get to do. I want to know, do you want to make a living doing what you love? Of course you do. Of course you do. If you do, give me a heck yes. So here we go. Are you ready for the 4 types of theater school? Now, I'm going to go through these, and there are a lot of these that are pretty broad, okay? That is to say that there are exceptions to a few of these rules. So for some of you who may know some of these intimate details of the nature of these programs, we're going to say, yes, but this, but that, but that, but that, I know. I'm giving you a very broad outline of each kind of school. So starting with number 1, this is a BA. This is a Bachelor of the Arts. And what does a Bachelor of the Arts consist of? Well, it just means that 50% or more of your coursework is in your discipline. So if you are taking a given semester of college and you have a BA in theater, and let's say you're taking 5 classes that semester, 2 to 3 of those classes will be in theater. The rest will be in your general ed studies, your academic studies. If you, by the time you are finishing up your junior year and senior year, most of your general ed is done, and by then you're taking 3 or 4 of the 5 of your classes are in your discipline. It also means that you get a broad understanding of theater with eclectic classes. So this isn't the type of program where you're taking acting classes every day, just acting all the time. What this means is you're taking acting, directing, playwriting, technical theater, theater criticism, and text analysis. Okay, this is the broadest view possible of theater. Okay, now you usually also don't have to audition for this type of program. Normally, you can just declare yourself a major at the school and you are in the department. You will have to usually audition for the productions, however, but you don't have to audition for the program. Okay, let's talk about the pros and cons of a BA in theater. What are the pros? Well, the pros are that you're able to double major most of the time. So remember what I was talking about before, is that you have passions that you want to pursue, theater and something else. This is the kind of degree that you can do those things. You are able to double major comfortably. You also study abroad a lot easier. This is really important for a lot of college students. It was important for me. That's why I got a BA. I wanted to study abroad, and I had a whole semester in Italy. So you also get the opportunity to not audition for your program. Let's say that you just want to declare yourself a major. This is where you can do it. The pro is also a more heterogeneous population. Now, what do I mean by heterogeneous? I mean, you have people who are studying different disciplines than you in your theater department. That is to say, you're an actor maybe, and you are hanging out with directors and playwrights and technicians. That is a real pro. As much as I love hanging out with actors, believe me, I'm an actor. There's only so much actor I can take in the day. Actors are crazy people. So it's nice to be able to be around different kinds of people. And when we talk about industry connection, this is a huge thing. I still give people jobs who I worked with in my theater program 10 years ago who are not actors. And those people get me jobs because they're not actors and they need an actor or they need an improv teacher. Going into the cons now. What are the cons of a BA? Well, you may not be challenged enough. Maybe you're coming in from a place like OSHA or another strong performing arts background. You may find yourself to be the strongest talent that they have there, and so you don't get a lot of your ilk in your same program. Okay. Another con is that you don't get the preparation that you may need for entry into the professional theater world. We talked about just taking acting classes. Well, that's perfect if all you want to do is be an actor. But if you take a BA program and it's a very broad program, you won't have the same kind of preparation for going into the professional world right away. I hope that makes sense. Remember, I'm taking questions at the end, so anything that you want to clarify, I will absolutely be happy to. And right now, I have everybody muted, so I will unmute your mics at the end of the masterclass so that I can hear you. Don't worry. Now, a BA, who's it right for? Maybe it's right for you if you want to be an actor, if you want to be a theater teacher, or if you want to do theater, but just not for a living, which is a lot of people. I have a private student right now who wants to be a theater teacher, and he knows it, but he's going for BAs and BFAs. He's just found schools that he likes, some of which have intense training programs, and some are BAs that give you a broad overview. It all depends on what you want to do for your living. I hope that makes sense. Let's go on to our next school. It is a BFA, okay, Bachelor of Fine Arts. What's the difference between a BA and a BFA? Well, a BFA is 70% or more of your coursework is in your discipline. So if you're taking 5 classes each semester again, 3 to 4 of those classes, more likely 4, will be in theater. So theater is kind of like your job, and then you have academic classes while you're at school, okay? You do have a more narrow focus on your specific discipline. So no longer are you in a lot of mixed classes with playwrights and dramaturgs and directors. You're going to be in with mostly people who are on your same track. That is the actor track, the director track, the playwright track, okay? It's also more focused on those individual disciplines. And you do have to audition for this program. There's one BFA program in the country that doesn't have an audition, but I think it's going to very soon. But that's one out of, I don't know how many dozens or hundreds of BFA programs don't have the audition, only one. So on the other side of the BFA program, let's talk about those pros. The pro is much more thorough training. This is a lot of training in your discipline from freshman year all the way until the end of senior year. You also are more likely to have those industry connections we were talking about. And that leads right into showcases. So the showcase is what you do when you graduate from college. You get to do a monologue, a song, maybe a couple of those in New York City, in Los Angeles, in Chicago, where agents and managers and casting directors are going to see you. And your school arranges the whole thing and invites all those people just to see you, to see if they can get you signed to a manager or an agent, for a casting director to see you, or for you just to get noticed in the city. You're not going to find that a lot with BA programs. And let's talk about the cons. Well, the cons are pretty much the opposite of the pros of BAs, where you're not able to double major. To double major with a BFA program, you would need minimum 5 years to do that and still graduate. You can still study abroad, but it is more difficult because you can't take a break really in the BFA program. That is to say, if you're in a BA program, well, you can maybe, if you're taking a semester abroad, you can still take a lot of your general eds abroad. With a BFA program, not as much. Some BFA programs have specific tied-in study abroads. That's like taking an acting class in London at the Globe Theatre for a semester, or that's working with the National Russian Theatre for a semester. But it's very specific places that you can study. England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, those are the biggest for theater study abroads, but also Italy for commedia as well. Now, the other con is you have a more homogeneous population. That means you are surrounded by actors, which I listed as a con. Maybe it's a pro for you. I just like having that break from actors. All right, so who is it right for? Maybe it's right for you. If you want to be an actor and work professionally right away, this is the program that you want to look at really hard, because that's what it's designed for, to get you working right away, not just academic interest, but to actually have you get jobs. It's also good for grad school hopefuls for theater and non-theater. So if you want to go on to get your master's right away in acting or directing, a BFA is great. But if you also want to go into non-theater, having a more intense program, a BFA as opposed to a BA, doesn't look bad for a grad school. It says that you like the harder track, that you work hard, that you like to audition for the things that you get. So the third kind of school is the professional training program. This is 100% of your coursework is in your discipline. So if you're taking 5 classes, all 5 classes will be in acting and musical theater. This is morning till night, just training for your trade. Okay, it has an exclusive focus on your specific discipline. This is to say, you will not take a single math class or English class or any of that kind of stuff. This is as close to Hogwarts as you get, because they don't take calculus for wizarding school and you don't take calculus for acting school. It is more focused on either acting or musical theater. It's pretty straightforward, and you have to audition. That is a prereq for a program like this. Let's talk about the pros. The pros are super immersive actor training. This is morning till night, just training in your specific field, okay? And you are ready to perform because you had nothing but dojo training from morning till night with a professional training program. Cons are you do not get a diploma. When you walk out of a professional training program, you have a certificate of completion, but that is different from a diploma. That's an important point that I want to make here. You don't walk out with a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Fine Arts. You walk out with a certificate of completion. And when you go to get jobs outside of theater or even teaching jobs within theater, they do make a definite distinction between a diploma and a certificate. A diploma can often get you hired, whereas a certificate often cannot. And of course, it is a 100% homogenous environment. These are just actors. At least with the BFA, maybe your roommate is in, environmental science. But if you're in a professional training program, your roommate is also an actor, probably someone who's at your school, probably someone who's actually in your same class as well. So it would be very much Hogwartsy, like Ron and Harry sharing the same room and sharing all the same classes as well. But of course, at a professional training program, you do not get an owl or a cat or a frog. I know, it's a ripoff. So who's it right for? Well, pretty much only one answer: actors who want to work professionally. So if all you want to do is act and you want to act right now, well, this is something that you might want to look at. All right, the last one is the text and theory and literature-based BA. Whew, that's a mouthful. So it's the same framework as your regular BA. 50% or more of your coursework is in your discipline. The difference here is it's not a focus on acting and performing. It's a focus on criticism, text, and dramaturgy. This is a lot of reading plays, analyzing plays, and talking about plays. This has more to do with the text than it does with the performance, okay? You don't have to audition for these kind of schools either, and this includes Yale's undergraduate program. So let's talk about this a little bit more with the pros and the cons. The pros are, this is the perfect degree for a master's in theater if you want to get a excuse me, if you want to get your master's in theater. The cons, of course, are you don't get to do a lot of acting and hands-on work. You may have an acting class here and there, a tech class here and there, but for the most part, you're talking about plays and reading plays and not performing plays. So who's it right for? Future PhDs or professors. And I'm not being funny there. A program like this is perfect for someone who wants to get their doctorate or their PhD in theater and theater history, or if you want to teach theater, be a chair of a theater program at a college, this is the program for you. All right, so Everyone take a break and shift gears, because now we're going to talk about academic factors. Yeah, that's right. So we're going to talk about the academic factors of college. Oh, Danielle's here. Excellent. Oh, Bianca's here. Sunny is here. And Danielle is here. Awesome. Hi, guys. It's so good to see you. So let's put that away. Boop. Okay. Academic factors. So again, these have exceptions to them. So I want to make sure that I am making this clear that there are exceptions to all these rules. But for the most part, always it's less important for professional non-degree programs. So moms and dads, before you freak out on me, what I'm talking about is the programs that only offer certificates, the ones that don't offer diplomas. Academics are not nearly as important for programs that are not concerned with your academic prowess as much as with your performance, okay? Now that's the always rules. Here comes the sometimes rules. Sometimes you get accepted to a university before you can get accepted into their program. Now, let me clarify the difference here between applying to university before applying to their program. A lot of times you have to apply first to the university, say to NYU, and then Tisch will give you actually, that's a bad example, because Tisch, you have to get accepted into New York University before Tisch can accept you, okay? That's a sometimes rule. Sometimes the department and admissions can negotiate your acceptance. So let's say that your GPA is, kind of okay for the university, but the school, the department really needs someone like you. Well, that's when the admissions and department are going to kind of negotiate for who they can take, okay? Sometimes academics aren't important for a degree program. Now, again, this is a sometimes rule, and it depends on the school. A place like NYU and Columbia, well, they're going to look at your grades pretty hard. But there are other schools that, as you're investigating, you'll find that their academics don't weigh in as much. And this should be in the always category, but I put in here, check with each school on every single one of these rules. I want to share with you that these rules exist, and maybe that helps you look at certain schools in a different way, but check with each school to make sure that they're in that group of what you're looking for. Okay. All right, here's a fun thing, networking. That's me and star of Rent, Adam Pascal, who played Roger in the original Broadway cast of Rent, 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 Rent. I did a benefit show with Adam Pascal for the Alzheimer's Foundation. So, networking. Associated regional theaters. So this is a big thing for me. There are certain colleges that actually have an association, an official association with regional theaters. Now, when I say regional theaters, that's a specific reference to a kind of theater that is not on Broadway, but is a professional, nationally recognized theater that has the status of a Broadway theater. It is not community theater, it's not semi-pro, it is 100% professional regional theater. Okay, so when you work with a regional theater at a college, you get directors, casting directors, actors, choreographers, and musical directors, all of whom are widely recognized and acclaimed professionals who are coming to work with your school while you're still in college. It is not unusual at all for the directors, choreographers, and musical directors, and the actors to be Broadway veterans who are doing a show away from New York. What you can get from making an association early on is three things. One, you get the actual experience of working with such a band of veterans. You also get to put it on your resume, and that goes a long way when someone sees that, oh, you worked with Alan Cumming on this show when you were in college. Wow. And then you also get recommendations. If you stay friendly with these people, you know, they can always get you jobs. Now, I don't want that to sound like you should be friends with famous people so that they can get you jobs. Don't look at it that way, because then they will not be your friend. But if you are a cool person to hang out with and you're a professional, you can always get jobs from friends. We love giving them to each other. Some of the most high profile of these are Webster University, which is in St. Louis, which is associated with the Muni, which is the biggest and most recognized outdoor regional theater in the country. And you can also get your equity points while you're working at the Muni while you're in college. You can get equity points while you're in college. What? And Wichita State, which is associated with Music Theater Wichita, another huge national regional theater. Other forms of networking are guest directors, guest lecturers. Guest lecturers are when, say, David Mamet comes to your college and he gives a lecture on acting and directing in the modern age. Well, he'll often take questions, and then sometimes questions can lead to conversations, and conversations lead to, give me your number, I'll call you when I'm in the city. Master classes, which can be similar to lectures, and an opportunity to learn from and connect with an industry leader. Sometimes they're just on campus for a day, but they become someone very important in your life. Okay, let's talk about cost awareness. So this is for Sunny. This is really for you, Bianca. This is for your mom and dad. So we have a great myth. All great theater schools are expensive. That is phony baloney. No way, man. There are great schools out there. Many of them are $45,000 a year or more. That is not unheard of for a private school. 45 was top cost when I was looking for schools, but now the top cost is about 60 a year. And many of them are out of state. Okay. Having said that, what are the schools that are cost affordable and deliver great programs? They are the state schools with very competitive BFA programs or selective BA programs. When I was growing up and looking at schools, there was kind of this stigma about state schools, that it was a lesser experience. And boy, has that turned around. Now, state schools are just leaps and bounds from what they are, and they're in the conversation for the top theater schools in the country. Now, if you're saying, that seems funny, I've never heard of great state schools. Why are they hard to find? Because college rankings are fickle. Because you saw my post with Adam Ruins Everything, college rankings so often are based on how much the college gives to be ranked. So there are great schools who aren't interested in being ranked or aren't interested in giving a lot of money for being ranked. And they're not going to be ranked. If you take 10 different ranking systems for theater schools, you'll find that Cal Arts is number 1 in 2 of them and not even in the top 100 on the other 8. UCLA is number 1, and then it's not even mentioned in the others. The rankings are all over the place, so you can't rely on rankings. You have to dig into these schools. It's the difference between football and theater rankings, okay? I'm a sports fan who also loves musical theater, which I'll tell you is a very lonely island to be on because not a lot of my musical theater friends are really interested in the NFC playoffs, nor are my football friends interested in getting tickets for the last 5 years. We don't have the TV rights that bring in all that cash flow. We don't get wins and losses every year, and we don't produce millions of dollars for the department. And that's why it's so much easier to hear of all these schools have great sports programs, but not great theater programs. We are at a public message disadvantage. So talking about state programs, they range from a general BA that is studying all kinds of stuff, playwriting, acting, dramaturgy, to conservatory level, where you are just working on your craft. It's true that as costs have risen, state schools have been getting more popular. because people just can't afford to do private colleges anymore, and they're turning inward to state schools. And this is something that is so cool that I love sharing with you. An increasing number of performers on Broadway are from state schools. When I saw, shoot, I don't remember the show it was, but the last time that I was in New York, they did a talk back after the show, and I asked someone where they went to school, and he said UCI, and I was like, yeah, UCI. A lot of my friends who went to Cal State Fullerton have done Broadway and national tours. It's astounding how much more popular state schools are getting. So these places are really producing top-notch performers. Okay. You've gone through your schools, and you have picked your schools. Now what? I don't know about you. I loved Finding Nemo, and I was surprised how much I loved Finding Dory. Okay. You picked your schools. Audition season sneaks up on you, and it comes at you fast. Before you know it, it's audition season. Okay? So you do not want to be caught off guard. When audition season comes up, you want to turn around, you want to say, boom, I have these 3 things ready. Come at me, audition season. You cannot stop me. I am a machine. Now, I am warning you, if you do not want to hear what you need to be ready for audition season, turn this off. Turn back now and be unprepared when audition season hits you. But if you want to be the most prepared that you can be, stick with me, because here we go. Number 1, you will always need, if you're going for musical theater or acting, 2 contrasting post-World War II monologues, okay? That means I'm not talking about Chekhov, okay? I'm talking about 1945 till right now. You will need 2 contrasting. It usually means 1 comedic and 1 dramatic. It doesn't have to be laugh out loud compared to tears of sadness all the time, but they want to see contrasting characters that they're giving you. Show me different facets of yourself is a phrase that I hear college auditors say a lot. Show me the different parts of yourself. And a backup monologue. I am always so surprised and disappointed when someone says that they have 2 monologues for their college audition, and I ask them, what's your backup? And they say, what backup? Oh, please, people, you need a backup. Why do you need a backup? Because there is a chance that someone does your monologue right before you do, and someone did that same monologue an hour before that, and now you're coming in, and you're the 5th person to do that monologue today. You don't want that. You want to stand out. Number 2, go to musical theater, 2 contrasting songs. This is pretty much a rule, 1 up-tempo and 1 ballad. Up-tempo means fast, a ballad means slow. And, of course, 1 backup. You would think that musical theater performers who are ready to audition for college have a backup, and they don't. And way more than acting in musical theater, if you've been to any auditions in your life, you know that it's very common to hear your song sung in the audition room while you're in the hallway. Now imagine that is for your college audition, that you only practiced 2, and someone sang one of your songs right before you did. And what if that song is better tuned for their voice than for yours? Oh, death, wretch, and death. You must have a backup. Now, I wrote 1 backup here. When I auditioned, I had a book of 6 or 7 songs. I'm not saying you need that. That's just what I had, but you must have at least 1 backup, okay? Now, songs to avoid. Listen to me very closely. Bianca, this is for you. Songs to avoid. Number 1, Jason Robert Brown. The last 5 years, 13, Bridges in Madison County, Honeymoon in Vegas, Songs for a New World. These are so hard for the piano player to play as a sight reader that at that point, they're not able to make you look your best by supporting you at the piano. When you're auditioning, you're telling a story in conjunction with the piano player, and you 2 are working together to create the story and song. But when the piano player is so preoccupied with just being able to play the right notes, they're not supporting you and they're not making you look your best, okay? If literally everyone in your theater department sings this song, don't do it, okay? 10 years ago, it was Defying Gravity. Right now, it's Dogfight, or it's Ordinary Days. If everyone's doing it, everyone's singing it, don't do it, because that means that the people behind that table, you're going to be the 15th person to sing that song, and they're going to want to blow their brains out if they hear it again, okay? Do not do it. Avoid excess sex and profanity. Now, it's okay to have profanity. We talked about that earlier. You can absolutely swear in your monologue. What you can't do is have an onslaught of swearing. You can't make it into a Tarantino film, because at that point, they're just going to be distracted by how many F-bombs you're dropping, and they're not in your performance. Excess sex is, you can have a little bit of it, but you can't have an excess of it, because then it gets weird, because you have all these grown-ups behind the table and there's a teenager talking about their sexual life, and it's very, very uncomfortable and very strange. It also probably means that you're not doing a monologue within your age range, okay? All right, number 3, a targeted school list. What do I mean by a targeted school list? This is your compilation of schools that are right for you, schools that are a great fit for you, and schools that will do the most for you, okay? Now, why do you need this? Because when you have an investment in your school, you have a better audition. I swear to God this is true. When you don't know what you're auditioning for, the stakes are lower, you are not putting in as much preparation, but when you have a school that you know about and you know that you like it and you know that they like you, you're going to have a better audition. You're going to remove the anxiety because you've done your research on the school. You know what they want. You know what the requirements are. You know what kind of program they have, and so you don't have those questions. The third thing is that when you have the organizational structure in place, you don't have to worry, and that means that you can play more. You can make bigger and braver and stronger choices in your performance, and that is always a stronger audition. If you're not as organized, then you are not nearly as brave and playful and creative in your audition. Do the work first, and then you can play after, and that always makes for a stronger audition. I hope that makes sense, okay? This brings me to the Unifieds. That's a picture from X-Men United with Professor X and Magneto. Bianca and actually a couple people were asking about the Unifieds. What are the Unifieds? The Unifieds are auditions for several theater schools in one location over a few days. It's almost always at an LAX hotel by the airport, sometimes in a couple different hotels over the course of 3 days. The Unifieds present between 18 and 30 schools every year. You have 18 to 30 different theater schools there every year, okay? It's a cornucopia of auditioning. Now, you're a multitasker machine. How many can I audition for? Well, slow down, Turbo, because you have to make individual audition appointments with each school. This isn't like the 7-Eleven of theater schools where you can just walk in and audition willy-nilly to your heart's delight. No, you have to make an individual audition with every single school, okay? And each audition can take up to 3 hours, because sometimes they have the singing portion and then the monologue portion and then the dance call, and maybe you have half an hour between each one of those. And maybe they take you in groups. You know, there's variables with all of them. So I recommend at the most, like if you want to collapse when you're done, 7 at Unified, and that is my ceiling number, okay? 4, 5, that's comfortable. That's comfortable. That way you still have time to breathe and eat between each audition, and you're not drained from the go, 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 stop, 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 go, 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 stop, stop, stop for 7 schools. But 7 is your max, okay? So moving on to what you should bring. 3 headshots and resumes for each school. Okay? That's pretty self-explanatory. Comfortable clothes that make you feel confident as hell. Okay? That means that you wear clothes that you can move in and that make you feel good. So, ladies, if you have a dress that you feel like, oh yeah, I look great in this, make sure you can move in it, all right? Gentlemen, slacks and a button down that you can move in, that you look good in, great. Ladies, nothing over 1.5 inches for the heel, okay? No torn jeans or anything like that. They gotta make you look real good, okay? Dance clothes, that's a change of clothes, okay? That's different from your comfortable audition clothes. That's what you wear when you sing and you act. Dance clothes is a change of clothes. And iPod and your iPod dock with fresh batteries, okay? Because it is not too unusual that the accompanist doesn't make it. Maybe they get sick, maybe their flight gets stuck, and then you don't have an accompanist. So while everyone else is singing a cappella, you sing to a track. So A, you sound better, B, your performance has more energy, and C, you show them off the bat that you are more professional because you came prepared, all right? Now, this is not an optional one. This is in my things you have to bring, okay? How do you give yourself the best shot? Okay, well, remember, there is limited space in each one of these schools, okay? So those spaces are reserved for you if you want it, okay? Now, this goes into, well, how do I give them what they want? You can't give them what they want because they don't know what they want. You hear actors all the time saying, am I what they're looking for? I don't know. And you know what? They don't know. You cannot be someone else's ideal of great if you're not your own ideal of great, okay? You got to go in there, and there's one thing that you're in control of, and that's being the friggin' most, oh, shoot, where is it? It's gone. But that is being the fiercest version of you that you can be. That you go in there and you are the most Bianca. All right? You go in there and you are the Steve-est Steve that ever Steve. All right? There is no formula for giving them what they want. It just doesn't exist. They don't have it. They're not looking for anything, any kind of performance in particular. What they are looking for is professional conduct. That is high on their list. Okay, that you come in and you are dressed the part. You have your resumes, your headshots ready to go. You have that iPod and the iPod dock ready to go. You were on time. You were polite. You were organized and you were prepared. You were friendly, and you go full tilt into your audition, and you do it exactly the way that feels right to you, and you show off all of you that you have to show off while you are professional, organized, and friendly. Mwah! Now that is a killer audition right there. That is someone that I would want in my school automatically, right away. Now, I have a question for you, and take this very seriously. What if you could get a minimum 80% chance of admission into your schools? That is what my students have gotten. Minimum 80% chance of admission into their schools. Like Molly and Chris. Chris says that Drew was a lifesaver during an extremely stressful time. His knowledge of particular programs, instincts about good schools and student fits, and commitment to Molly's success were invaluable. And Molly is starting school tomorrow. She's starting school at Columbia College, Chicago, with a BA or BFA in musical theater. She has the option of either. She's moving in right now. So now you know what you need to do. How do you do it? You know that you need to find the schools that are right for you. You know what you have to be looking for, but how do you do it? School Match, okay? School Match, what is it? It's a precise, targeted collection of school recommendations, okay? And it is based on a dozen criteria that are important to you, what you are looking for, what you want out of your college experience, what kind of training you want, what kind of networking opportunities you want, the cost, the exposure to industry, and your career goals. These are all schools that fit that criteria, okay? These are the kind of schools that you are going to want to have on your targeted list, okay? The ones that you feel connected to, the ones that you want to audition for, and the ones that will want to have you as well. So School Match is a value of $10.50, but there's a bonus. Bonus number one, a comprehensive examination and counseling for 10 schools on your list. What that means is we're going to sit down for 90 minutes and go over detail by detail by detail 10 of those schools that you get on your list. What is contained within each program, what the networking opportunities are like, what the showcase opportunities in New York and LA are like, what the alumni are, what's going on in that school, what life like is on campus and in the town. We'll go through all of that stuff. That School Match at $10.50. The counseling for 10 schools is $120, which brings our value up to $11.70. And Jordan is starting. She started school last week in Chicago. She says, if it wasn't for Drew, Jordan wouldn't have had such a successful college audition season. That's her mom, Jamie. So Jordan got accepted to Chicago College of Performing Arts, Rider University, AMDA, and Boston Conservatory. Those are just the ones that I put on here. There were like 3 more, but I just wanted to put the ones that I'm the proudest of for her. We're throwing in another bonus regarding School Match. I'm going to give a comprehensive examination and counseling for 10 additional schools on the list, bringing it up to 20. And 90-minute plus 90-minute, it's going to be 3 full hours of detailed examination of each school with you. And you can ask as many questions as you want, and I will be digging into every detail of these schools. And you know what? Just because I'm a crazy person, I'm going to throw in the third bonus, the one sheet of power. This is where I should have put Lord of the Rings emblem up. The one sheet of power is you are getting ready for your college auditions. And this is for student and parent, okay? Let's say that you're applying to 13 schools, all right? Oh my goodness. You're trying to keep track of all of the information on 13 schools when you're getting hundreds of emails. Sometimes you're getting 2 emails a day from each one of these schools as the auditions approach. And you've got all the information for all these schools on your phone, on your computer, in your paper planner. It is a full-time job keeping track of all of your school day of info. That is, what song you need, what monologue you need, how long each one has to be, because some of these are different. Some of these are 30 seconds. Some of these are 32 bars. Some of these are 90 seconds. Some have a Shakespearean monologue. Some don't. And if you have information on your phone, in a Google account, no, it's in a text message, and it's in an email, I don't remember where I put it, and now you have to show up, and you're supposed to remember what each one of those are like, it is a full-time job. But one sheet of power keeps all of your schools and requirements in one convenient location on one page. It's got all of your dates that you need, all of your locations that you need, and it's one easy-to-read document. You don't have to dig anywhere except open the one sheet of power. You've got everything that you need. This is only my second year of offering this because the most common thing I heard from moms and dads were keeping track of this thing was insane. And I pulled my hair out trying to keep track of this. The thing to remember too, what they don't tell you is what you see on the websites about what the audition requirements are sometimes not accurate, and they'll email you like a few weeks before your audition and they'll say, by the way, please be sure to bring your post-1970s Irish monologue. And you're like, what? I didn't know about that. With the one sheet of power, you email everything to me. The moment you get it, I keep track of it, and then I keep on you. I stay on your butt to make sure that you've got all these things down, okay? Now, it's a living document. I do everything on Google Docs, so I not troll, that's an old terminology. I look at these websites, at all the college requirements, and I keep your document up to date. I make sure that it's got all the current requirements so that you're never behind, okay? It updates as the schools update. Which brings us to School Match's value of $10.50. Counseling for 10 schools is $120. Counseling for 10 more schools is $120. The one sheet of power is a value of $7.50, and that brings our total value to $20.40. All right. So if you want that value of 2040, and I really want to give it to you, if you jump in today, you will get all of that for 507. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that you have to make the school match right now. We don't have to conference right now. All we do is order it right now, and then that deal, that price is good forever. Okay. And I can only offer it through September 9th because, well, frankly, I can't be giving away $1,500 worth of free stuff all the time. But it's only 507 right now. I would love for you to jump in with us. Now, as promised, the secret to keep you in the room. When you audition, they see hundreds of people every day, literally hundreds. They hear hundreds of monologues and songs. Believe me, the fact that they've heard Defying Gravity 15 times that day, and they've heard the same sad monologue about a girl breaking up with her boyfriend, or the same funny monologue 15 times and it's no longer funny, they are hungry and thirsty for something different, something that separates someone else from everybody else. So the secret to keep you in the room, special skills on your resume. What is that? A special skill on my resume? Do you mean like baton twirling and that kind of stuff? Well, actually, yes, I do. Because when they look at your special skills and they ask you about it, guess what? That's a personal conversation that they're having with you, that you're having with them. Up until then, it's been, hi, how are you? I'm going to sing this song. Thank you. It's all business. When you have a special skill they ask you about, all of a sudden, they get to know you as a person. And you as a person is very interesting. And that's someone that they want to keep talking to. It's a great icebreaker. And it gives you the opportunity, if they ask, to show off this thing. And when you show off something that you're good at, something that's impressive or something that's goofy, that makes you really memorable. Now, I said this took me 3 jobs. I was not kidding. I was doing a read, and I had listed on there, I do a Richard Nixon impression. And they said, well, really? And they dismissed everyone else, and they said, can we hear this read as Nixon? And I did it, and they said, we laughed, we talked about it, and if I had not stayed and done that, they wouldn't have gotten to know me, they wouldn't have asked me to read again, it booked me the job. There's a couple of other physical things that I do that kept me in there, got me to know them, booked me the job. So, no special skill is too small on your resume. You may think it's dumb, you may think it's weird, that's what we're looking for. I want you to post in the group what your special skills are, and share them with everyone else in the group. There is no limit to what you can put on your special skills, okay? So I want to remind you that it's only through September 9th that School Match has this value of 507, and it goes right back up to 2040 for the rest of the school year. All right, it is now time to take Q&A. Bianca.
Hi. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, so good.
Hi.
Oh, there's
Me
Danielle,
my
and there's
mom.
hi, Mom.
Hey.
All right, and Danielle is here, and Sunny is here. Danielle and Sunny, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent. All right, so I got about 15 minutes worth of Q&A. So hit me. Let's do it.
How do we know which school is best for us?
Okay, so it depends on what you're looking for. Where did you come in the Masterclass?
I just came in a little bit recently.
Okay, great. So it will benefit you more to go back and watch the replay of the Masterclass because I answered everything for you. And
Right.
it's about a 30-minute section. So I will keep all that, and I will repost this video in the group. And I think I already know what schools are right for you, Danielle, but watch the Masterclass and let me know if I'm right. Because I'll send you a message because I think I know what schools are like in your wheelhouse. But I'm going to post a video and send me a message and tell me if I'm right, okay?
Okay, so you'll tell me which schools I should think about, and then I'll message you to let you know if you're right.
Yeah, awesome. Bianca.
Also,
All right.
Danielle, I have like 5 or 6 pages of notes I took, so I could send them to you too. If like, you,
Okay, great. Awesome.
That'd be great.
Danielle is an awesome actress. She does a lot of work in Fullerton. What, you do?
Yeah, we've done a few shows together and we work together.
I didn't know
Yes, she's my Elsa. She's my awesome Elsa. And I've done quite a few shows at Mysterium.
Oh, that's cool. Now, Sunny, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Ah, hello. Greetings from Temecula?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. If it's 95 here, it's got to be like 300 there.
It was like 110 today.
Blarf. Oh, my goodness.
Supposed
Well,
to be
you know what?
106 on Friday.
Just dig me a hole outside Inez Road and bury me there. My God. All right. So,
Sure.
what questions can I follow up with you guys?
This is kind of, oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
great.
go ahead.
Okay, sorry. This is kind of specific, but
Yeah.
my goals for like future is I want to go and I want to like perform for a while and like work as an actor.
Yeah.
I'm also really interested in directing.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I've always really liked. For like the 4 types of colleges you talked about,
Yeah.
I like would fit in most likely a professional training program, maybe a BFA. But I was wondering if there's any, if you think like, if you want to go into directing, do you need like that directing background? Like how can you get into it? But no, you don't think.
It does depend upon your specific timeline too. Like if you want to have the performance background, but you mostly want to concentrate on directing, then a BA program would actually be great because you can do both. A BFA program, you can either do acting or directing. You kind of have to make a choice when you go in. Having said that, a lot of my directors studied acting and then they became directors. And unless you just want to direct, I think that going for like a BFA in acting is going to be a stronger platform for you.
Okay. Yeah, no, it definitely isn't like the main goal for me, but that's something I've always like been interested in, like want to have that option open later in my life after I performed for a while. And I didn't know if like not having direct training on it would close me off at all.
Yeah, and also getting a BFA in acting is going to make you a better director because you're going to have that background in acting and you'll know how to talk to actors like human beings. And there's a difference between directors who treat actors like tuna fish and directors who treat actors like people.
Yeah.
You know, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
With getting the BFA compared to the PTP where you do not get a diploma,
Yeah.
is it going to hurt her career in the long run moving
Um,
forward?
Again, it is dependent upon like what are your career trajectories. So for instance, my friend Carla, who I worked with on the ship, she graduated from AMDA, which is a 2-year conservatory program that's got no degree. And she was like, I want to be a performer. That's all I ever want to do. But she's also a real niche type who could work until she's dead. And she has no other ambitions. That is the only kind of person that I really recommend a certificate program only for. Like I did a degree, even though I'm an actor and I work professionally pretty much only as an actor. I knew that I wanted to have that degree just in case. And it's helped me I work at OSHA because I have that degree.
That's awesome. Okay, that helps. Thank
Yeah.
you.
This actually goes into a thing that I didn't put in the masterclass, but I love talking to parents about. I hate the term backup plan. Like I want to throw it into a fire and like explode it till it's dead. Because it implies that there's a quantitative definable point of failure for an actor. That if you don't have a Broadway show by this many days out of college, you are a failure. And I'm like, what the actual F? That is not how things work, okay? There is such a thing though as having an additional skill set. That I love. Because that means that while you're acting, you possess another definite set of skills that keeps the money rolling in while you're getting acting jobs. So I would never shit on anybody who said, I want a double major. Like, go for it. If you want a minor in business, that's the #1 recommendation I make for actors because you're your own CEO, you're your own CFO, you are your own chairman of the board. So a set of business skills are going to help you Absolutely. And if you want the degree, totally go for it. But it's not a backup plan because that paints a very dismal picture for you. It is an additional skill set. And I know it sounds hippy-dippy snowflakey, but it is a real difference.
Yeah, no, I feel like if you have a backup plan, you're going to fall back.
Every student I worked with who said, well, I'm going to try theater, and then if I don't succeed, I'll be a lawyer. And I was like, just be a lawyer. Then just be a lawyer. Okay? Sunny.
How many schools should you have on that targeted list that you talked about?
Your targeted list, my opinion is max out at 13. That is my general rule if most of your schools are audition based, because managing 13 different auditions in 2 days is a nightmare, right? And that's why I offer the one sheet of power, because it makes your life so much easier. There is a little bit of a difference in that number on your targeted list if a majority of your schools are not audition based. Because if you're only auditioning for 5 schools, then you can put as many non-audition programs as you want on there if all they're asking for are essays, ACTs, and your GPA. You can apply to as many schools as you want. But for audition schools, like no more than 12.
Okay, for auditions.
Yeah. So I have a student right now. She has 6 audition schools and 6 non-audition schools. So I actually said we can bump this up to 15 if we want to put more non-audition or audition schools on our list. And
are the non-audition schools there as like in case you don't get into any of the audition-based schools?
Yeah, the what do you call it? The different definitions of each school fit into reach, fit, and safety. And so the reach schools are the ones that everyone's going for, and they have limited slots and a lot of auditioners. The fit schools is a bit more subjective category where you think like, given my GPA, given my audition, given all these factors, these schools feel pretty good for me, like they're in my wheelhouse. And the safety schools are just that. They are if you lose your voice, if you get laryngitis, if you break your leg, if the accompanist forgets how to read music and you don't get into any of your schools, you have your safety schools. Having said that, there are some freaking great safety schools that in a few years are going to be moving into the fit category. So like there are some safety schools that I am pushing people toward because they're dynamite programs and nobody knows about them.
Okay. I think I have another question. Realistically, when should she really be starting this process?
So it depends on how organized you are. And I don't mean to put the onus on you, but it is different in the hands of a procrastinator versus an organized human. So I've had people do this as early as April of their junior year. So right before they graduate, right before junior year ends, which I think is actually a great time to get started, because then you can make a long list. Like if you do school match and I'm able to give you 20 schools that feel right for you, then you have April, May to start whittling down those schools, and you can use summer vacation as a great time to visit the schools that you have left within your list. So like you could start as early as January, that's fine, and then take a break. You don't have to start this anytime before junior year.
Okay.
As far as senior year goes, if you're starting in August, oh boy, God bless you.
That'd be scary.
Is school match something that you created, or is that something you've created?
Yeah, school match is all my creation.
Okay.
And it takes, because I don't have a calculated algorithm for it, because schools change all the time, and so an algorithm would fail with bad data, it takes me about 6 days to do.
That's a lot of work. I can't even imagine doing that on my own.
And can I tell you too, Sunny, there are actually there are safety schools that I've actually moved into my top 10 for people above certain audition schools because of how much I like the program. And a lot of this comes from me just calling these theater programs, talking to them for a couple hours, and learning what's going on inside, and then learning where they'll be by the time these students graduate. And that's really exciting.
Okay.
Any other questions? I got another 5 minutes. All right, I think we're good.
Yeah, no, this
Okay.
is super
Yeah,
helpful.
very helpful. So
Oh, good. I'm so glad. That's very good to know. All right.
With her here, she doesn't know a lot about theater, so
I mean, I do, but I don't. But I don't.
Awesome. Mom,
Yeah,
what's
my
your name?
parents don't know much about theater either.
Yeah.
They
That-
just watch me.
I feel like that's
They
a lot
just
of
watch.
people. Sunny, are you a theater person?
I am now. I know a lot about theater now. I was a dancer, but
Oh, very good. Well, that makes one of us, Sunny. I go to movement calls at musicals, and I simply watch and smile.
do you have suggestions on that? Like what types of dance to really prepare for the auditions?
Yeah. If you're not in a jazz and ballet class, get in them now. And I mean that's just the fundamentals of musical theater is jazz, and ballet, and tap always helps.
Okay.
I was talking to TJ like last week about like the same thing about like what kind of dances, and he was saying like if anything like ballet and tap, he was like get yourself in it like right now. He was like tap used to be like more or less like something you could get away with, but just like with all the musicals and stuff coming out now, he was like get in the top front.
Yeah, tap for girls is like a feather in your cap. Tap for boys is like a cap on top of your cap. There's not a lot of boys who can tap, so it sets the boys apart. And for girls, it just makes you look like a more viable candidate for a musical theater program. Now, having said that, it is important that I don't freak anybody out and say that you have to be a dancer, you have to be, you have to be Cheetah Rivera when you go into these places. They cast you based on who you are and how they can use you. So there's a girl that I'm working with now. She's a big girl, and she's not a dancer. She's a mover, and she's looking very strongly at Boston Conservatory because they base you on not who you aren't, but who you are. Okay, so I don't want to freak anybody out about that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else, Sunny?
No, I don't think so. I guess my question would be like, at what point do we like have a sit down? I mean, would it be through the school match?
What grade is your child in?
She's a sophomore.
She's a sophomore. So, we're just starting sophomore year. Oh, pshaw, we got time. You can, we can have a sit down without school match this year just to kind of get a gauge of where she is. But we don't have to, and I don't want to start doing school match until later on because it's possible that those programs could change by the time that we're seriously looking at programs.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of research like on my own of schools with BAs versus BFAs based on states.
Yes.
And we went to New York and we went to as many as we could in the city.
Yeah.
Do we continue to try to like go to different areas, and is it like based on the area should we base it on like the area she wants to reside in?
That is kind of up to her. Like if she's like, Mom, I'm not going anywhere that doesn't involve New York City, well then you better start looking in New York City.
Yeah, that's kind of where she is right now, but we haven't been to Pennsylvania and Boston. I'd like to try to go to.
Well, Boston is just a whole college town, man. You can knock out about 10 schools in 2 days in Boston.
Right. Okay, well, yeah, I would like to meet with you at some point this year. Try to like get on the right path.
Great. I will message you later tonight.
Okay, that sounds good.
Awesome. Anything else from you, Danielle?
well, my question is, what if I'm planning to transfer from a community college, when should I start this process with the school match and whatnot?
Are you looking to enroll for next fall?
I'm not sure exactly yet. I still need to finish a couple of general ed classes, and that's what I'm focusing on this semester.
Okay, great. Do you have word from your counselor yet as to how you're doing in terms of progress?
In my progress?
Like in terms of being ready to transfer?
Not exactly yet, because I think I need to do the application process, but I'm not sure how it all works. But was told, I think it was after this semester or the semester after this one, that
Okay.
I could be almost done with general ed classes.
Got it. Okay. The next step for you is to get specific in writing from your counselor as to when you'll be done. At that point, I can know what semester for us to prepare for and then when to start school match.
Mm-hmm.
So go to Fullerton, get that information, and then get right back to me because it's a very busy time for us, and I want to make sure that we get some time with you.
That sounds good.
Awesome. Bianca and Bianca's mom, what's your name?
Jeannie.
Jeannie?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Any questions from you guys?
As far as like acting, singing, dancing goes,
Yeah.
dancing is probably my weakest of all, but I still feel
Same.
I'm a semi-strong dancer. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not like, I wouldn't go to like a dance call over a vocal call, but like
Yeah.
I dance. I do 2 different electives at OSHA and I dance outside, and I just started point like half a year ago.
Yeah.
Would going into like college auditions that have like dance calls being like not like a super strong dancer like hurt me more, or like
I mean,
think about that?
being stronger in every field will always help you. However, in professional shows, so you were talking about TJ earlier.
Yeah, I did the audition workshop with him.
Okay, so I just did Oklahoma with.
Yeah. I have a lot of
TJ.
friends who did it. That was great.
And,
It was amazing.
You know, professional shows will cast a vocal ensemble and a dance ensemble. Now, the vocal ensemble still has to be able to move, and the dance ensemble still has to be able to carry a tune. So they will know that they're casting Bianca, this girl who can act and sing her face off and can kind of move. And they're casting this girl who can dance and who can kind of sing, but she's a good performer. So it's not like, again, this goes back to what do they want from me? They want you. They just want what you have to offer.
Okay, that helps.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. I think that we are good. I hope this is valuable to you guys. I really do.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. So this group will remain in place after the master class, and I'll continue to put goodies just in this group, just for us, up until the next master class.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Great.
Take care, guys.
Thank you, Drew.
Bye.
Bye.